Welcome to Crocktober. This month, the YouTube Mommy Meetup community is doing a whole month of slow cooker recipes. Every day there are at least 2 recipes, some days 3, and I think there's even a few days that are 4. So when you're done with this video, be sure to go check out the playlist. It'll be linked below. And just see what other inspiration you can find so that you have a whole new set of recipes for the coming winter. The recipe I am doing is Mississippi roast. If you're on Pinterest, you've probably seen this recipe. It is all over there. But the version I have is from New York Times. I honestly have not used the New York Times cooking section very much until this summer. I found a lot of great recipes on there. And what made me check it out this summer was finding this version of it last winter. There was a week that I wanted to make it, and I forgot to buy a packet of ranch dressing at the store. So rather than having to go back to the store, I hopped online to see what I could find, and this one came up. I don't really have anything against buying store-bought things like the packet of ranch dressing, but I do try to limit how much we do. And I especially try to limit it when the alternative uses items that I have in my pantry and doesn't require a whole lot more effort and still have a great payoff. When I stumbled across the recipe, there was also a linked article called The Improbable Rise of Mississippi Roast. It's a nice little background to the story of Mississippi roast. So that will be linked below along with the recipe. So be sure to go check it out when you are done with this as well. Hurricane Matthew is headed our way, and my original plan was to grill out tomorrow in case we lose electricity. It sounded like a great plan because I didn't have to depend on the stove, until it occurred to me that it would mean I might have to stand outside in the rain and the 50 mile an hour, 60 mile an hour winds. So when I realized that, I decided that I wanted to use a crock pot. So this is going to be our meal for the hurricane. I'm actually going to cook this this evening, and that way it's already even ready for us tomorrow, so that if we do lose electricity, I don't have to worry about that. And I can just put it in a pan and warm it up out on the grill if necessary. I figured at least that would mean, even if I have to go out and put it on the grill, I wouldn't have to stand out there for any length of time with, tending to the grill. Let's get started. First thing I wanted to show was my crock pot. This is a Hamilton Beach. Got it from Amazon. The great thing about it is it comes with 3 different size crocks. There's a 2-quart, a 4-quart, which is what I have in here, and a 6-quart. So if you often have recipes that need a smaller or larger size, this is a great alternative. Mayonnaise, apple cider vinegar, paprika, and dill, and that is it. That's the entire thing to replace the packet of ranch dressing. So really, truly, that's all it is. Super simple, and you've gotten rid of a packet of dressing that includes lots of things you cannot pronounce. Oh, and then also the buttermilk. The buttermilk is optional, so if you want to use that, that's in there. If you don't, you can add a little bit of extra milk. I think it was a teaspoon of buttermilk, so don't buy buttermilk just for that, if that's all, if you won't use it. But you can just use a teaspoon of milk or just leave it out completely. Next up is the pepperoncini, or I don't know how to pronounce it, honestly. Now I'm using the sliced kind, but I looked at the package of the regular ones, and it said it was figured out, and roughly about 40 pieces would be the equivalent of 8 to 12 pepperoncinis, and that's it. I'm going to put this on low for 6 to 8 hours and then shred it. I lied. I'll be back now. I forgot to put in the butter. So the original recipe calls for a whole stick. This recipe is just a half stick. So the person who wrote it and then the reviews all said that they thought a half stick was plenty. Even a few people even said they went less. Welcome back. As you can see, changed clothes because it's actually the next day when I finish this. Plans got changed last night and I ended up just putting it in the fridge before I did anything with it. And then I pulled it back out and put it back in the crock pot today. The cut of meat I bought wasn't shredding, so I just chopped up my meat and then returned it. As you can see now, it's starting to shred eventually, but also my sauce was kind of thick, but not really. So I put a little bit of cornstarch with cold water, mixed it up, and then put it in. So that the sauce will, so it's gonna be more of a sauce. Then I am serving it over egg noodles. And then I came across a recipe for 4-ingredient pumpkin spice biscuits. That's just flour, heavy cream, sugar, and pumpkin spice. They're not very sweet. I already tried one. And so we'll have that. And then I have cinnamon apples, and I'll make salads too with it. A lot of comfort food, but on this hurricane weather day, that sounds perfect. The lighting is terrible and it all looks kind of mushy, but there it is. So be sure to hit subscribe and then go check out the playlist. It'll be linked up there and down below, so you can catch up on the ones that I've already shown, and then the rest of them, you're looking at 40, 50 recipes this month. That'd be a great way to come up with some new meals for the coming winter.